Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I will only refer to the reasons behind the situation in Cyprus and the current situation there, because many people believe that Cyprus is nothing more than a market where Russians put their money and which is which they take advantage of. But unfortunately, this is not the case because there is a variety of reasons not to allow this. And this is why Europe has never convicted Cyprus thereof, because we operate according to European regulations, and you all know that Cyprus is a member of the Eurozone. Therefore, something else lies behind the effort taking place in Cyprus. Although the crisis had emerged way in advance, it reached Cyprus in 2013 and following a series of underlying events. I can tell you that all those who monitor the reality in Cyprus agree that, unfortunately, the left, which was in power at the time, failed to reply to Europe, and in fact the Akel government provided Europe with the rationale, with the excuse to intervene in our country. Unfortunately, the left helped, without this being intentional, helped the right party, and led by Anastasiadis, the right won the following elections. There was also a referendum for the Annan plan, which was, in my opinion, an effort to impose on Cyprus the data of the time. This also failed, and one of the things that they want to impose on Cyprus today is actually part of that plan. And Cyprus has two particularities. It must find a way to adopt a form of the Annan plan, and also it has to find a way not to be controlled by others. And you all know that global economy mostly depends on sources located in the Middle Eastern part of the world and Europe, but it is very important to see who controls this area. Also, it should be noted, although I think it is well known, that in this area the prevalent powers are from the West, not from the Orient. In the past, it was the USSR and then Russia that wanted to exert their power therein, but they only had Assad. And I'm telling you this because this is part of the plan to control Cyprus and the entire area. In Cyprus, in 2013, a bail-in was promoted. That means that a bank controlled by foreigners would fill in its deficits using the savings of depositors. Also, the state contributed by 1.9% and the ELA through the ELA, the government was forced to undertake the governance of this bank. So this was a way to cover such deficits. They cut all savings from all depositors. The depositors paid for the deficits of Marfin Laiki Bank. Therefore, the resulting debt was covered by all depositors, not from the depositors of this particular bank. One of the differences between Cyprus and Greece is not with regard to the public sector, but with regard to the bank sector. The bank sector is the one that gave out loans and also the sector that has deficits. In order to prevent consequences throughout Europe, it was decided that the branches of Cypriot banks in Greece would be sold. And this was performed at a very low price, at a humiliating price, while this prevented the debt from being passed over throughout Europe. And the debt was increased by 2 to 3 billion euros. The debt of Cyprus largely increased very soon, in a very short period of time, and it amounted to 300% of the GDP eventually. It is true that the memorandum provides for a few positive reforms in the public sector, but this is only a small part of the memorandum that will fool Cypriots in order to apply the policy now followed in Cyprus by Europe. The memoranda imposed privatizations without any safety nets. And you know, for example, in Cyprus, defense is very important because Cyprus is the only European country that is under occupation. And recent events in our area make defense even more significant. I'm talking about the fight between Islamists and others. This turn of events led to very difficult times in Cyprus. In practice, the government led by Anastasiadis uses the memorandum to pursue neoliberal policies that were always favored by this party. In essence, the memorandum is a pretext for imposing their views. And if we see what happened in Cyprus together with things happening throughout the world, and I do not want to offend our female audience, but instead of resisting the rape, they opted not to resist it in order to remain in office. As a result, they enjoyed this blackmail, and Cyprus is now under memoranda and under different regulations imposed by the memoranda. It goes without saying that unless there is growth, the debt cannot be covered, cannot be repaid. And growth cannot happen given the current situation. Therefore, Cyprus will go through very difficult times, and I believe that Cyprus, as well as Europe, look forward to the outcome of the negotiations with Greece in order to see what will happen in Cyprus. I think that time will show. Unemployment in Cyprus is at 17%, and 1 out of 2 people aged under 25 are unemployed. Also, we have brain drain in Cyprus. And the other thing is that we have deflation in Cyprus. This is a very dangerous event. This affects loans both for enterprises and households. We have lots of non-serviced loans. And the rise of non-serviced loans is dramatic, and this is why the loan of Cyprus is now at 300% of the GDP, and it is the highest one in the Eurozone. Our economy is adversely affected by the following factors. First of all, the ruble has been devalued, and although the Cypriot currency is not linked with the Russian one, this only implies adverse effects for our economy. And this is something that foreigners as well as nationals of Cyprus take advantage of in order to promote solutions that are likely to be even worse than the Annan plan. Therefore, we do not believe that the solution will boost growth. We believe that people who say that growth will be boosted from the proposed solution mislead the people. And also, we believe that a federal state consisting of 2 parts will be more expensive than a single state. Fortunately, Cyprus has an asset. It is able to sell natural gas resources available in our soil, but also the Turkish government tried to prevent this by deploying Barbaros. We will have to wait and see how Cyprus will cope with the measures provided for under the memorandum. But I will now stop because I believe that interesting discussions will follow. Thank you.